So our next topic is nematoda. So let's cover very important points only. So it took me much time for flattening this because I covered many points. At present, they are not needed. So that's why I will cover which are mostly very important. Of course, I'll cover maximum, but I have limited some not needed at present for the examination. Okay, anyway, so the term nematohelminthes or nematoda was coined by same as for the plathelminthes and nematohelminthes. So the both the names were given by the Wegenbach. So in Latin, nematos means thread. Okay, so helminthes means worms. Okay, so actually there is another name for nematohelminthes, nematoda, that is Ascaris. Okay, so and there is another controversy about the nematohelminthes is so there are different classes which were part of the nematohelminthes earlier. They were, they were considered. They are considered presently as separate minor file. Okay, anyway, in 1980, Barnes combined the nematohelminthes or nematoda and rotifera gastrotricha. And he kept all these three into a phylum and he included three more classes also. So Priapulida and all those. So he called all of them as Ascaris. Anyway, so presently nematoda or nematohelminthes is one of the major five. So now rotifera and gastrotricha, Priapulida, okay, all those are considered as minor five. Anyway, so there is a famous word for the nematodes as uh, a tube in a tube. See, this is one of the commonly this word is famous regarding nematodes because there are the body is like a halo, not completely halo. It is muscular, but it looks like a tube, and in which a straight tube-like alimentary canal is present, and there is a gap between the alimentary canal and you know the body one. So that's why these are famous as animals. Uh, a tube in a tube. Okay. Anyway, in general, these are called roundworms, pinworms, or hookworms. So all these worms are included. And this is very important point regarding the nematodes. So these 3 points are very important in terms of classification. Okay, so they are triploblastic animals. Okay, they are bilaterally symmetrical animals and they are pseudo-coelomate animals. So they do contain 3 primary germinal layers. They exhibit bilateral symmetry and platyhelminthes animals are acoelomates. Okay, and even these are also acoelomates, but there is a cavity which is not derived from a mesoderm. So that's why the cavity which is present that is called pseudocoelom. And these animals are called pseudocoelomate animals. You remember these 3 points, particularly this one. This is very important, very, very unique point of the phylum Nematode. Yeah, so the body wall is made up of collagen containing cuticle. Okay, and this is important point. So in platyhelminthes there is no epidermis. Okay, here the epidermis is present, which is syncytial. Okay, so this is also important, and this is a unique character. Four, longitudinal lines are quadrate. So generally, lines like a groove, you can say, not bands. So grooves, whatever lines like structures. Okay, so present. Two, one is dorsal, one is ventral, two lateral. Okay, so these animals contain four longitudinal lines. And there are some special cells called Rennetti cells or Rennetti gland cells or glands, which are excretory in function. And this is a term called utili. So, what is utili? So, for example, if you take any animal, multicellular animal, you cannot say in a tissue, 1,000 cells are present. In a organ, 1 lakh cells are present, or 1 million cells are present. You cannot say. The number of cells, it is variable. Okay, it may be less or it may be more. There is no fixed number. But in these animals, in nematodes, in some tissues or in most of the tissues, the number of body cells in the tissues is fixed. For example, there are four quadrates attaching to these four longitudinal lines. In each quadrate, 150, myocytes are present in each quadrate. So that is an example for util. Okay, and almost all the nematodes, they exhibit sexual dimorphism. In general, females are longer, males are shorter, except not in Trichina. In Trichina, male is longer, female is shorter. Anyway, this is also important point. So the cleavage is spiral, just like plant helminths, and it is of course all the up to the mollusks, the determinate type of cleavage is seen, which we have discussed in the embryology. So these animals mostly they are oviparous. Okay, some animals like Wuchereria, so they are called ovoviviparous. So not only Wuchereria, even Ascaris Ancylostoma, all those. So they contain within the egg. So the larva is present. So such eggs are called ovic eggs, and such condition is called ovoviviparous condition. Okay, so almost every animal, um, contain larva. So the development is indirect type of development. Okay, and then let's go to classification. Okay, so there is a very, very simplest classification of all the phyla. So it is divided into two classes based on the phosphate. I forgot. Okay, that will come in the Ascaris. Anyway, two classes. One is A-fast media and fast media. Okay, so in these A-fast media, amphids are present. So these amphids are present on lips. So they are made of cuticle. Okay, so they are a kind of chemoreceptors and tango receptors, touch and chemoreceptors. Okay, amphids are present, and whereas the phasmids are absent. Simple. So examples are Trichinella, Trichiurus. So Trichiurus is generally called as whipworm. I'll give list of the animals after the in the notes. I'll give there are many parasites with a particular name. I'll give a table. Anyway, so here the second class is Phasmidia. So they contain the phasmids. Phasmids are sense organs present in the posterior part of the body, particularly near the anus or cloaca. So they are a kind of sense organs. So their function is still not clear, but they are considered as sense organs. Anyway, here examples are Ascaris Ancylostoma, Trichina, and Nematoda. So this is the classification. Now let's jump to our first type study, Ascaris lumbricoides. So its common name, Ascaris. This is, you can see the diagram here. So Ascaris common name is a roundworm because it very round cylindrical animal. Okay, so it lives as an endoparasite in human intestine. Okay, human intestinal parasite, and it is a unisexual animal, and the sexual dimorphism is very clear. So how? So you can see this is male, which is shorter. This is female, which is longer. The male, the posterior part of the male, okay, it is curved. Okay, so with a pair of penile setae or spicules. Okay, whereas female almost straight always. So that is called sexual dimorphism. It is very clear. Anyway, so among all the nematode parasites, the Ascaris is the biggest nematode parasite. So female may grow up to 20 to 40 centimeters, and it contains. See, if you observe here, female genital aperture is present almost mid-ventral region of the body, slightly above the mid region. Okay, that is one important point. And another one is, you always remember, this is, don't be confused. In female, the anus is present. Okay, so whereas in male, the cloaca is present. So if at all anus is present, there should be a genital aperture. A simple logic. Okay, what is the function of anus? It excretes the undigested waste. Okay, so here that is separately, if at all it is present, there should be separate genital aperture. So if you see the male one, there is no genital aperture. So cloaca is present. So cloaca is a common opening for both reproductive ducts and alimentary canal. So anyway, yeah, contain female genital aperture at almost mid-ventral region of the body. So anus is present posteriorly. So that is about the female. And then male. So male one is shorter than the female. So the posterior part of the male is slightly curved like a hook. So with these two features, we can identify directly it is as a male. Okay, so then prior to this curve, ventrally, cloacal aperture or cloaca is present with a pair of penile setae or copulatory setae, which help in the copulation. Okay, so that is the differences between male and female. Both sexes, that means male and female, both sexes have four longitudinal line and mouth bears three lips. This is important point. So with thin oral papillae, మీకు ఇక్కడ కనబడుతుంది. So these are the thin, you know, oral papillae. So upon each lip, an oral papillae is present. Okay, so here generally these oral papillae are, so they are related to touch. This what we call the touch related receptors. Okay, so upon every ventrolateral lip, amphids are present. Okay, so which are made up of cuticle. These are olfactory and chemoreceptors. Sorry, I told their other thing. Anyway, so amphids are olfactory and chemoreceptors. Whereas these oral papillae are touch receptors. Okay, are related to touch reception. Whereas the amphids, okay, which are present on the lips, that is the anterior most part of the body, amphids, so anterior, okay, phosphids, posterior, A for anterior, P for posterior. So in that way you can remember. And these are, yeah, amphids are olfactory and chemoreceptors structures, which are made up of cuticle. And then both sexes, that means male and female, possess an excretory aperture. Okay, so ventrally below the mouth దగ్గరగా excretory aperture రెండిట్లో ఉంటుంది at about 2 millimeters distance from the mouth. Okay, so yeah, body is covered with cuticle, which is made up of collagen protein. So below the cuticle, epidermis and muscular layers are present. Okay, so on the body surface is completely covered by cuticle. Below the cuticle, epidermis is present, and below the epidermis, muscular layer is present. Cuticle protects and facilitates for molting, that helps the growth. So for every molting, the cuticle is lost. The growth occurs. While the growth occurs, the cuticle is again regenerated. So, and here I told you already, epidermis is essential. Okay, so musculature includes 4 longitudinal quadrates. In ఏదైతే so body ki 4 lines ఉంటాయని ఇట్లా చెప్పాను. So internal గా, so they are related. ఇప్పుడు మీకు లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ ఒక క్వాడ్రేట్, రైట్ సైడ్ ఒక క్వాడ్రేట్ ఆఫ్ మజిల్స్. సో ఇక్కడ నుంచి బాడీ ఎండింగ్ వరకు ఉంటుంది. అట్లా 4 క్వాడ్రేట్స్ ఉంటాయి మజిల్స్ అని. సో muscles are present. Each quadrate or quadrant contain 150 myocytes. ఇందాక చెప్పినటువంటి యూటెలి అనేది ప్రాక్టికల్గా ఇది కూడా వన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్. సో దిస్ కండిషన్ ఒక పర్టికులర్ టిష్యూలో ఉండడానికి సో పాలిమయోడియన్ అని పిలుస్తుంటారు. Okay, and in this animal only longitudinal muscles are present, circular muscles are absent. Coelom is of pseudocoelom. Its fluid helps in transport. Yeah, coelomic fluid to pseudocoelomic fluid helps in transport of food and excretory substances. So, and now life cycle. Very not much complicated when compared with the fasciola and the tenial solium. So in the morning, I recorded the tenial solium video, and I sent you the link. Okay, if you have time, you can watch it. And also in that, purpose type studies there, and also what we call the adaptations, okay, of the particularly the flatworms or helmintic animal adaptations, parasitic adaptations also there. Anyway, you have the notes also. Here, the Ascaris is monogenetic parasite. Its host is human being. Okay, so copulation occurs in human body. So naturally, so fertilization occurs in the uterus of the female. Okay, to form zygote. Zygote అనేది form అవుతుంది. So zygote is surrounded by three protective layers. ఏంటి అవి అంటే so inner lipid layer which is secreted by the zygote and the middle chitin layer secreted by the female body or secreted by the animal. ఎట్లాగూ ovum is secreted by female expert, secreted by the body. Yeah, so body. Right. So the outermost layer surrounding the zygote, which is formed by the animal again. So that is made up of a kind of protein called marmelated albumin. So as the outer layer is marmelated albumin, such eggs are called marmelated eggs. So it occurs in the uterus itself. So matured female produces about 27 millions of eggs. Okay, so that is 2 lakhs per day. Okay. Every day, Kuda, the 2 lakhs of eggs are produced. So why? This is an adaptation. So ఎందుకంటే I could not explain in that topic because the time was very less. Here, simple reason is these are endoparasites. They live in the tissue of another host or another animal or another organism. So the environment in the host is very, very, unfavorable. So if at all it produces 10 eggs or 100 eggs, there is a more chance that due to the action of the juices or the tissue conditions, temperature, pH, all those can kill those 100 eggs very easily, or immune system, whatever. So that's why parasites produce numerous embryos or eggs. This is an adaptation for the parasites. And having tegment is also a cuticle or epidermis is also one adaptation that protects the body from the digestive juice of the host. Anyway, so female releases such eggs into human intestine. Into female body lo nunchi eggs human intestine cavity loki vachestayi. And these are sent out by fecal matter. Okay, they reach onto the soil. Marmelated eggs are reached onto the soil. So eggs are developed in moist land only. Okay, dry lands they cannot withstand the dry areas. So the cleavage is spiral and a determinate type of cleavage. Okay, after development tarvata first juvenile stage is formed. So development tarvata cleavage అయిన తర్వాత this is on the soil. Okay, so I'll click here. So after 3 weeks, okay, first molting takes place. So already first juvenile stage lo first molting stage molting jarigi. Second stage of juvenile is formed. Okay, so that is called very, very famous larva of the pneumatic illness, that is rhabditiform larva. Okay, and it is still in the egg. So that's why it is called ovic egg. అది ఆ లార్వా ఇంకా కూడా ఎగ్ లోపలనే ఉంటుంది with 3 layers. Okay, so this is all on the soil. Okay, so it is the form larva containing egg or ovic egg is infective stage to man. Sorry. Infective stage to man. Right. So so as it is in soil, non-hygienic area, so by contaminated food or contaminated water, okay, it reaches a new human stomach. So in the stomach, so due to the action of stomach juices or HCl, whatever it may be, so the 3 egg layers are so destroyed or dissolved. Okay, so this rhabditiform larva, so very small, it is up to 0.3 millimeters. So that is released into stomach. So after releasing into the stomach, what happens? So extra intestinal migration happens. So what is that? Let's see. So in the stomach, the rhabditiform larva, so that reaches to intestine. From the intestine, so via hepatoportal vein. Okay, మన digested food ఫస్ట్ అది liver కి వెళ్తుంది through the hepatoportal vein. నేను ఇది మీకు కార్డెట్స్ లో చెప్పాను. Okay, so through the hepatoportal vein, the rhabditiform larva reaches to liver. From the liver via post-caval vein of the heart. Okay, it reaches to heart right arc or heart, we can say simply. So from the heart, it through the pulmonary blood vessel, it reaches to lungs alveoli. So it stays there about 4 to 6 days. And in the lung alveoli, second and third mounting takes place. Second and third mounting takes place. And from the lung or the alveoli, so it goes to bronchus. Okay, so bronchus of the lungs or respiratory system. From the bronchus, trachea. So from the trachea, glottis. From the glottis, pharynx. Pharynx is a part of both respiratory and digestive system. So from the pharynx, again it goes to intestine second time. ఇక్కడ స్టమక్ లో రిలీజ్ అయినాక ఇంటెస్టైన్ రీచ్ అయ్యి అక్కడి నుంచి హెపటోపోటల్ వెయిన్ ద్వారా లివర్ కి, హార్ట్ కి, లంగ్ కి, అక్కడి నుంచి bronchus, trachea, through the glottis that reaches the pharynx, and finally second time it reaches to intestine. This whole journey is called extra intestine. Spelling mistake. Auto dictionary of this. Extra-intestinal migration. Okay, so it is performed by rhabditiform larva of the Ascaris. Okay, so this journey is completed about 10 to 14 days. So in intestine, after reaching second time into the intestine, within 6 to 10 weeks, so it undergoes fourth mounting, so to become adult. So that is the life cycle of the the Ascaris Ancylostoma. So here, you can see adult worms in intestine, they undergo copulation. Okay, so the eggs are released, fertilized eggs. Okay, the marmorated eggs, they reach the soil. Okay, so here in the soil, it develops into second juvenile form, the rhabdoid form larva. The rhabdoid form larva containing eggs by contaminated food. They are ingested into uh, man. Okay, so in the man, in the stomach, the outer three layers are dissolved, and from stomach to it goes to intestine. Okay, so again from the intestine, through the venous system or hepatoportal vein, it goes to actually liver to lungs, lungs to bronchus, bronchus to trachea. So in the lungs, it undergoes, second, third modes, and then trachea to glottis, glottis to esophagus, pharynx actually, trachea to pharynx, pharynx to esophagus and stomach and intestine. So this is the life cycle of the Ascaris lumbricoides. Anyway, pathogens. So the disease caused by Ascaris is called as Ascariasis. So it causes malnutrition, anemia, so lack of appetite, eosinophilia, okay, obstruction in the gut due to over crowding or more number of parasites. Okay, and in children, it frequently infects to children because they consume contaminated water or without washing hands, or those they eat. So growth is retarded in the kids, children. When larva is in bronchi, so the pneumonia occurs, and whenever it is present in the heart, liver, brain, kidney, okay, so it causes severe pain. Okay, so these are the symptoms of Ascaris lumbricoides. In prophylaxis, how we should avoid? So by practicing hygienic practices. Okay, so then the treatments are anti-helminthic drugs like xantonin, chenopodium oil, atrazine, piperazine are generally used to treat the ascariasis. Okay, so that is about the Ascaris lumbricoides. I'll do that later. So next parasite is another parasite, the Ancylostoma duodenum. Okay, so its common name is hookworm. This way, its diagram is here. So if you observe these, so their anterior region is slightly curved. Okay, so like a hook. Okay, so clear hook. So that's why the name hookworm is given to this you know parasite. So there is another American hookworm is present. That is its scientific name is Nematoda americanus. Actually, surprisingly, this question was asked in 2-3 exams. Okay, instead of Ancylostoma name or related matter, so what is the scientific name of American hookworm? So Nematoda americanus. Okay, you remember that. Ancylostoma duodenal lives in human small intestine. Okay, it is also intestinal parasites. It attaches to the intestinal wall by a structure called buccal capsule. So this is not here. So here a buccal cavity is present. There is a structure with the teeth called buccal capsule, with the help of which contains the teeth that hooks actually in the buccal capsule. The teeth and hooks are present, with the help of which it attaches to the intestinal wall. So that structure is called buccal capsule, which is present in the buccal cavity. And this buccal capsule sucks or feeds, okay, on blood and tissue fluids of the intestine. Okay, so ఈ buccal capsule సహాయంతో ఇవి సో హ్యూమన్ ఇంటెస్టైనల్ బ్లడ్ అండ్ టిష్యూ ఫ్లూయిడ్స్ ని that sucks. Okay. Uh, as its anterior region is slightly bent, so it is called as hookworm. In both the sexes, that is male and female, there is a buccal capsule anteriorly. So buccal capsule bear three chitin-made plates. So each plate with hooks or teeth. Okay, so మూడు chitin-made plates ఉంటాయి buccal capsule లో. So each with hooks or teeth. Okay, so this is the female. Here also same, just like Ascaris. So mouth, alimentary canal, all those. So, and yeah, here the vagina or gonopore is female gonopore is present. And yeah, ovary. This is anus. Okay, and here very near to mouth in both the sexes, excretory is present. Whereas male is, slightly shorter than the female. Okay, so here it contains cloaca and so a cloacal aperture. Okay, and this posterior broader structure is called copulatory bursa, which with chitinous plates that helps for the copulation. Okay, and the copulatory spines are also present. That is one special. And then here also excretory pore is present. There is and as cloaca is present, there is no genital aperture. Okay, so in the male, the testis. Okay, in the female, the ovary are the main reproductive structures. Okay, so anyway, that the buccal capsule help in attachment. Okay, this animal shows sexual dimorphism. Just now I told you, female is 10 to 13 millimeters, male is 8 to 11 millimeters. Female posteriorly pointed. Okay, if you observe both the animals, posterior చూస్తే female అనేది pointed గా ఉంటుంది, male అనేది it is broadened with copulatory bursa. Okay, so female posteriorly pointed with a single small caudal spine అనేది ఉంటుంది. So in females, anteriorly by about 1/3 far from the mouth. So female genital aperture is present just like Ascaris. Okay, Ascaris లాగానే ఇక్కడ female genital aperture or vaginal aperture or gonopore is present. So male possesses cloacal aperture posteriorly. So male lo as usual గా cloacal aperture ఉంటుంది. Either side of the cloacal aperture, a thick umbrella shaped chitinous structure called copulatory bursa, or simply you can call it as bursa. Bursa is present with the two lateral lobes and a basal spokes. Okay, anyway, copulatory bursa helps in copulation. So yeah, this one, the reverse umbrella shaped structure, copulatory bursa, which is made up of chitin. Okay, so with the two lateral lobes and 2 or 3 basal spokes. And here it helps, the copulatory bursa helps to hold female during copulation. Copulation జరిగేటప్పుడు female పట్టుకోవడానికి copulatory bursa helps. Dorsal surface of cloaca is made of cuticle and thick. It is thick in structure, that is called gubernaculum. Okay, so cloaca యొక్క dorsal part అనేది thick గా ఉంటుంది. So that is called gubernaculum. It helps penile setae, copulatory setae during copulation. Gubernaculum అనేది penile setae కి help చేస్తుంది. So penile setae are also there near the cloaca. And here, yeah, so copulation occurs in small intestine of the, so yeah, okay. So female lays about 10K, that means 10,000. Don't be confused. Okay, 10,000 eggs per day. Okay, so these eggs, so at four celled embryo stage. So they come out by fecal matter. Okay, the eggs are released into small intestine. They will come out of the body of the man. So by fecal matter. So within 24 hours, within 24 hours, the eggs are hatched. Okay, so to produce the rhabditiform larva. So this rhabditiform larva, so within 4 to 5 days, so it undergoes two moltings. Okay, it performs two moltings. So after 2 to 3 days, okay, the second juvenile stage, this is first juvenile stage, rhabditiform larva. Second juvenile stage, the filariform larva is formed after the second molting, 2 to 3 days later, filariform larva is formed. Okay, so here two larvae forms. So rhabditiform and filariform. Okay, so the filariform larva is infective stage to human being. ఇదంతా ఎక్కడ జరుగుతుంది? సో on soil లో జరుగుతుంది. Just wait. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ వరకు యా. సో ది four-celled embryo నుంచి ఓకే, సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఫైలరిఫార్మ్ లార్వా ఫామ్ అయ్యేంత వరకు కూడా, సో దట్ ఈస్ ఆన్ ది సాయిల్. ఎనీవే, సో in the soil, the filariform larva can live up to some weeks, so without food. Actually, the filariform larva has two stages. One is taking the organic matter in the fecal material on the soil, feeding, and other organic matter which is present in the soil. And after that, it stops feeding. That is called non-feeding filariform larva. So this non-feeding filariform larva is actually infective stage to man. So it can live up to some weeks without food. So, and it utilizes stored food within its body. So anyway, that is infective stage, filariform larva. So same here, if man, okay, so as the filariform larva is on the soil, if a man, so if he wander, roam, in the area where the filariform larva forms are present on the soil, if a man, if he walks in that area, okay, so this the filariform larva, so that pierces human skin. Okay, okay, if at all the person without chappals. Okay, so that sandals. Okay, pierces the skin and enters the blood circulation. So due to that piercing, the itching sensation and pain occurs where the piercing of skin by the larva taken place on the body. Okay, so other than this, there is another chance is also there, that is through the infection through the contaminated food or water, but it rarely occurs. So anyway, so now the filariform larva reached the blood. From the blood, it goes to heart. From the heart, it goes to lungs, alveoli, and then to bronchus, trachea, and all those. So from the trachea through the glottis, it goes to pharynx. So from the pharynx, it reaches to again small intestine. Okay, so here the third and fourth molts takes place when larva reaches the small intestine of the human. Okay, so that produces adult. Okay, so this After third and fourth molds, about within 6 weeks, the larva, filariform larva, that turns into adult within 6 weeks. So this is the journey of the life cycle of the, this Ancylostoma duodenum. Okay, so both male and female, they undergo copulation. So the eggs are released. Okay, at 4 cell stage, it comes out of the body of human first host, and in the soil, so it develops into, a larval form within the egg. Okay, so here, what we call the, after hatching of the eggs on the soil, so it is the larva is produced, that is rhabditiform larva from, from the rhabditiform larva. Okay, so the filariform larva is formed. So it pierces the human skin, okay, when the person walks in that area, in the vicinity. So through the circulation, okay, so it goes to the heart, then to the lungs, then to the, bronchus, trachea, and, alimentary canal, pharynx, and from there again, it goes to intestine. There it undergoes third and fourth molds, and that will become adult, and it continues. So that is the life cycle of the Ancylostoma aqua. And here pathogenesis. So it is the disease, you can call it as Ankylostomiasis. It is a little bit harmful than the Ascaris. When larva is in lungs, it causes pneumonia. When in intestine, so the adult causes blood motions, eosinophilia, anemia, and immune capacity is decreased. Okay, so these are the symptoms of the Ankylostomiasis. In treatment, as usual, the quinopodiamide, tetrachloroethylene, Excel, Research, etc. drugs are used to treat Ankylostomiasis. And this is the last parasite of the phylum Nematoda. So that is Trichinella spiralis. Its common name is Trichina worm. So it is one of the important nematodes, parasites in the man. So it not only harms the human being, it can also enter. It can also live other mammals like dog, cat, pig, rat, plug bear, polar bear. So it is mostly in the USA and the Europe area. It is famous. So that's why. So these mammalian names are given. So anyway, the disease caused by this animal is trichinosis. Okay, and yeah, let's see its morphology. So these here, the anus containing male, which is longer. This way is adult male. In the book, it is given as. Okay, so here also female is longer. Okay, here female gono. Right. Yeah, maybe trichurus. Good form. Here the parasite occurs as a coiled, encysted larva in the voluntary muscles, or it is present in the voluntary muscles of the general host, like man or other mammal. So usually the voluntary muscles like skeletal muscles, like limbs, chest, diaphragm, tongue, eye, and neck, etc. The larva measures about 1 millimeter in length, while the cyst, so the larva with cyst, has a diameter of this is not data. So 1 ounce of flesh may contain, if at all the person is infected, in one almost a gram 1.5 gram flesh of, you know, um, infected flesh may contain thousands of, so the larval forms of the Trichina worm are present. A new host acquires infection by eating raw or improperly cooked flesh containing encysted larva. So how it is infected actually అంటే ఇప్పుడు హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ ఎట్లా ఇన్ఫెక్ట్ అవుతాడు అంటే, సో వాట్ ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ ది animals like, so pig కావచ్చు, cattle animals కావచ్చు, other mammals, rabbit, all those. So if they are infected, if their meat is improperly cooked, the larval form, okay, that reaches to human being. Anyway, containing the encysted larva ఉన్నటువంటి cyst containing larva అనేది కనుక, సో మనం తినే ఆ మజిల్లో కనుక ఉంటే దట్ విల్ రీచ్ టు హ్యూమన్ బాడీ. ఓకే, సో దీస్ cysts are dissolved by the action of the digestive juices and the larvae are liberated from the cyst in the intestine. Okay, in the intestine of the, the human being or maybe another animal also. They soon move to safe places between the villi of the intestine. అవి ఆ villi మధ్యలో దాక్కుంటాయి, larval forms. So within about 2 days time, they attain sexual maturity. చాలా fast గా they attain sexual maturity and become adults. Very, very simple life cycle. Larval form infect through the infected, meat. When the person consumes such meat, so it reaches the stomach, so its cyst is dissolved, and the larva reaches to intestine, and it hides in between the villi, okay, intestinal villi. So there it will become, within 2 days, it will become adult in the villi, between the villi. The adults are short-lived, okay, surviving only for week or two weeks, but the encysted larva retain, so retain viability. అంటే లోపల ఒకవేళ లార్వా కనుక ఉంటే, ఎన్సిస్టెడ్ లార్వా కనుక ఉంటే, సో ఇట్ మే నాట్ హ్యాచ్డ్ ఫర్ సెవరల్ ఇయర్స్. Okay, if the favorable conditions are there, that will be hatched, and you know the the larval form will come out, and in the villi again it becomes adult within 2 days. So its lifespan is very, very less. So anyway, here the animal structure, males are smaller than the females. Okay, ఇక్కడ కూడా same, males are smaller. Sorry, this might be the female. So 14 to 16 millimeters, and the male is 3 to 6 millimeters. So in both sexes, the anterior end is pointed. So in the diagram, so anterior end is pointed, okay, in both male and female, and the posterior end is fleshy, okay, so not pointed, should be. Okay, so yeah, so cuticle is transversely striated, అంటే అడ్డు లైన్స్ ఉంటాయి, horizontal lines ఉంటాయి. So that looks like segmentation. The mouth leads into pharynx, followed by the capillary esophagus, embedded. Anyway, this technical term is there. Here you can see the mouth leads to pharynx, pharynx leads to esophagus. So the esophagus is embedded in large granular cells. Okay, ఆహార వాయువుల esophagus చుట్టూ ఉండేటువంటి granular cells ని మనం స్టికోజోమ్స్ అని పిలుస్తాం. Okay, so the male has a pair of conical appendages or copulatory lobes at the posterior end. So here copulatory lobes, or pair of copulatory lobes. Okay. Copulation takes place usually in the intestine. Okay, after which the males usually die and pass out. Copulation జరిగిన తర్వాత male అనేది immediate గా చనిపోతుంది. Okay, the females burrow into intestinal wall and live there for some time. Okay, each producing about 1500 young larvae. Okay, female అనేది 1500 young larvae producing. The larvae enter the blood circulation from the intestine. Okay, so blood circulation and reach the voluntary muscles. Finally, voluntary muscles will reach out. It may be human being, it may be any other mammal, where they grow to length. Okay, so if the host is a goat or sheep or any other pig, okay, so generally the European people, which they consume pig also. Okay, so through such muzzle, infected muzzle, the the animal is infected to new host. Okay, so anyway, here in the muzzles, it may reach up to 1 millimeters, and it is twisted, and encystment takes place there. Okay, so the larva, okay, in the muzzle, it synthesizes a cyst surrounding its body. So formation of the cyst is completed about this is yeah. So larva can live up to 10 to 20 years or even more. Okay, so if the conditions are not favorable, but finally they, along with the cyst, undergo calcification and die. Okay, the calcified cyst persists in the host muzzle throughout the life. ఒకవేళ 20 ఏళ్ళు దాటితే ఇవి కాల్సిఫికేషన్ అయ్యి అక్కడే చనిపోతాయి. ఓకే, ఆ యానిమల్ చనిపోతే ఇవి కూడా అందులోనే ఉండిపోతాయి అంతే. ఓకే, calcified cyst. The viable encysted larvae, ఒకవేళ బతుకున్నటువంటి cyst లోపల ఉన్న larvae, attain sexual maturity only when ingested by a new host. అంటే ఏంటి, ఆ మజిల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఎన్సిస్టెడ్ లార్వా ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్ని, ఆ మజిల్ని, సే నాట్ హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్, అదర్ యానిమల్లో మజిల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ఎన్సిస్టెడ్ లార్వా అంటే సిస్ట్తో ఉన్న లార్వాని వేరే యానిమల్ కానీ లేదా వేరే హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ కానీ కన్జ్యూమ్ చేసినప్పుడు అప్పుడు కొత్త హోస్ట్ లోపల దట్ విల్ బికమ్ అన్ అడల్ట్. ఓకే, హ్యూమన్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ ఈస్ ప్రాక్టికల్లీ డెడ్ ఎండ్. ఒకవేళ మనిషికి కనుక అది ఇన్ఫెక్ట్ అయితే, సో ఎందుకంటే హ్యూమన్ ఫ్లెష్ని ఎవరు కన్జ్యూమ్ చేయరు కాబట్టి, సో అది అక్కడే దాని లైఫ్ ఎండ్ అయిపోతుంది. ఓకే, సో మైల్డ్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ ఆఫ్ ది ట్రైకినా వామ్ usually produces no symptom. So heavy infection causes the disease trichinosis. Okay, trichinosis. So producing a variety of symptoms like diarrhea, nausea, abdominal pain, hypereosinophilia, thrombosis, muscular pains. These are all the symptoms of trichinosis. Not much severe. As the larvae spread in the body, the fever may also caused. Okay, the muscles swell and they will become hardened due to the larval infection. So difficulty in breathing and swallowing may also be felt. So heavy infections may be fatal, that will lead to death. Too much infection. So there is no sure treatment for this disease. However, piperazine citrate, okay, has been found effective in the removal of puddle worms from the intestine. So this is about the nematoda. So with this we have completed the